Hello there, this is General Snivy, and welcome back to more of the Ratchet Clank Up Your Arsenal playthrough. Last time, Captain Quark, quote-unquote, kicked the bucket because he tried to look for something really important here at or more or less on that ship that just crash-landed, and we just found out that he's actually alive and well. As far as where he is, well, we're going to find out in today's session. That's the goal, and that's what we intend to find out. And also the Galactic Rangers called saying, hey, we're throwing a party! But in actuality, this party ain't like the best kind of parties. You know what I mean? It's not a friendly one. So, anyway, let's go ahead and help out the Galactic Rangers now, shall we? They have been helping us quite a bit throughout the entire galaxy by us helping them in return, so we have a few missions. First is to help out the Galactic Rangers on Aradia, and we also have to return to Big Al to take back the data disk that we found towards the end of the last session. So, yeah, we're going to go help out the Galactic Rangers first, because they're kind of a priority. And besides, helping them will grant us another pretty neato reward. So, with that in mind, let's get to it now, shall we? I also came prepared today because I brought 2 bottles of water with me. Much like I did for the last session. So, there we go. What can I say? I tend to get thirsty, especially when talking for roughly 4 to 5 hours per session. Alright, on to the first mission. The Tunnel of Outpost X-12. Let's do this. After I see what's available, that would be the Quacko Ray. This devastating secret weapon transforms your enemies into ducks. Like harmless, cute little ducks. Too bad they don't shoot water. Although that would probably be like the best thing ever, but this game came out in like 2004 originally, back on the PS2. And yeah, that was well before that particular duck that I'm referencing has even been conceptualized. But then again, maybe it was in the planning stages for a long, long time, and it's only recently that it came into fruition. Anywho, let's head on out.
You got here just in time, Sarge. Looks like the Noids are getting ready to attack through those tunnels.
Sounds good. So, what does the Quacko Ray do? Well, much like the suck cannon, it does not use ammo in any capacity. And as a result, it is an incredible weapon at this point in the game. All you have to do is just hold down the fire button and keep holding it on your enemies. The longer you hold the beam onto them, the more likely that they will turn into a duck. Once the gauge maxes out, they will transform. And bada bing, bada boom, they're just harmless little itty-bitty ducks. So just give them a whack and they will explode. Why? Why did they explode? No idea, but you know what? Who cares? They're ducks. They're just harmless little duckies. Can I please not? Wow, I suck eggs. Alright, let's try that again now, shall we? Hopefully this time not get obliterated. To be honest, I kind of got thrown off guard there, and that was just my fault. There is one other thing worth mentioning when it comes to the Quacko Ray, or whatever the hell this weapon is called. It doesn't overheat, but it does have a limited range. Oh, good job! Didn't mean to take an acid bath. But, on the positive, looking at the positives here, at least we can gain a little bit more experience points for this thing. And obviously, the more powerful you make the Quacko Ray, the faster it will transform enemies. Speaking of transforming enemies, for whatever reason, I just noticed this now, but you can't use you can't jump while you have this thing active. I don't know why. It's really strange. Ugh. Excuse me. There is one other thing worth mentioning too, and that is a pretty unique quirk when it comes to the Quacko Ray. And that is during missions such as these, for whatever reason, even if you transform an enemy into a duck, it doesn't necessarily consider that enemy defeated until the duck explodes. Why? I have no idea. And another thing worth mentioning too when it comes to this thing, if you do accidentally slip off your enemy, then the transformation sequence is reset back to square one. Oops. Didn't mean to pull out the suck cannon or the level 5 version of it, but either way. Yeah, something that just happens to happen once in a while. One more thing worth mentioning too, when it comes to transforming enemies.
Alright. Mission accomplished.
Oh, nice.
The Rangers were here to pull your tail out of the fire, hey Sarge?
That took a little bit.
Sarge, we got noise all over the place. We need backup. I don't want to die.
Alright, so for the next mission, what we need to do is, of course, just blast every enemy out of the sky while flying in this ship. And of course, you do have to defend your Galactic Ranger friends as they fend for their lives in the middle platform here. And just like with every single one of these Galactic Ranger missions, it does take place on yet another multiplayer map.
It's more coordinated than we've seen before.
So that's pretty neat.
We get something new here.
I don't know why that guy took like 2 million years to perish, but here we are. I did intend on starting a little bit earlier today, like maybe around 11:30, but the reason why I didn't do so was because A, I got up a little later than I should have this morning, around 8:30ish, and I had to run an errand for Mom as well. Thankfully that errand has been taken care of. It was like a quick trip down to like a local grocery store just to pick up some Benadryl because Mom's developed a rash on her neck, and it needs to be treated, like yesterday. I'm just saying, having a itchy rash on your skin is not exactly a fun time for anyone involved. You know what I mean? There is one other thing worth mentioning here, and I'm pretty sure in this mission you cannot exit the ship. Well, we're going to find out. Nope, you can't. Okay. I didn't think you could exit out of the ship in this mission. There are some missions in which you can exit the ship, and there are even more that you can't do that. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, as you see here, there is a titanium bolt here. However, we cannot grab this thing while we're in the ship. Why? I don't know. There's probably some sort of anti-gravitational technology that makes it so the hover ship cannot collide with the ground. Which, yes, that makes sense. That does make the game easier, so you don't have to worry about accidentally scraping against the wall and then blowing up unexpectedly. You know, this isn't like Ace Combat where one little itty-bitty scratch and then boom, you're done. I'm just saying. Not exactly a fun time if you crash and burn.
Thanks, Sarge. You got here just in time. We're falling back to base to regroup.
Hey, that was a bit of a fun mission. On to the next one, Assassination.
Looks like you're going solo on this mission, Sarge. Yeah, the squad's got a mandatory aerobics class we can't miss. Anyway, get those fluorite scum sacks out whooping for us.
That's a fun way to say, yeah, I ain't doing this with I ain't touching this mission with a 39.5-foot pole. And I can't blame them. This place is a literal battlefield and is super, super dangerous. Where you can literally drop in like a quarter of a second. Not even that. Probably about 100 to 200 milliseconds. One other thing really annoying about the Quacko Ray is if you do end up getting hit, that also counts as saying, hey, we need to reset the transformation time. But, even so, despite the fact that the transformation timer resets back to level 1 or just back to 0, the transformation, for whatever reason, is pretty damn quick despite this being at level 1. Maybe it's because of the fact that you get this weapon so late into the game. It only makes sense that it's supposed to be this good. And I like that. I like that a lot. One very unfortunate thing about turning enemies into ducks is you can't use the ducks as meat shields. I mean, if you did, then I guess you can say that would be considered harming animals in this game. We can't have that now, can we? No. No, we cannot. But anywho, as far as the primary mission objective on this mission is concerned, we need to take out 4 commandos, or maybe not 4 commandos specifically, but we need to take out all the commandos that are scattered throughout the map. Was that titanium bolt glitching under the map, or am I going cuckoo crazy? That took longer than it should have, but you know what? That's okay. Quacko Ray level 2 is achieved. That guy just shot through the wall. I swear to God. This isn't Call of Duty. You guys don't have wall hacks. Screw you. This is Ratchet Clank, goddammit. Pain in the freaking... Damn it. Well, this is what I get for trying to solo the Quacko Ray. Well, no big deal. It just means I can get more EXP. And I'm okay with this, honestly. I swear, it just feels as though the Quacko Ray does not require nearly as much EXP to gain levels versus all the other weapons that we've acquired up to this point. But then again, maybe this is a placebo effect, just because of how late into the game that we've gotten our hands on this thing. And believe me, when it comes to maxing out this weapon, once it reaches level 5, this is when it really starts to become like one of the best weapons in the entire Ratchet Clank franchise. I am not kidding, it is that freaking powerful. Although, when it comes to the Quacko Ray, it's best used for taking out singular targets, like one at a time. When it comes to clearing out groups of enemies, unfortunately that's where this weapon falls short. Also, you are expected to use a vehicle to traverse and make your way around this place more quickly. Which, yes, that does make sense. That is what you're supposed to do. But you don't really need to do that. You don't need to use the vehicle if you really don't want to. And honestly, I would recommend that you don't, because if you do use the weapon, or you use the vehicle, then you're gonna miss out on some platinum or titanium bolts. There I go, mixing up the terminology again. Dang it! Maybe that particular part of the map is just unused for the single-player portion of the campaign. Which, yeah, that makes sense. What can I say? Curiosity killed the cat. No big deal. Again, just means more EXP for me. Again, I really wish I could have started a little bit earlier, like around 11:30 instead of 12:30, 12:45, somewhere around that ballpark. God, I hate these commandos. They suck, man. Dealing so much goddamn damage around this point in the game. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and by the way, you probably hear a bunch of little explosions going off. And once the Quacko Ray goes up to level 2, then transform ducks, instead of them being harmless little ducklings just waddling around, waiting to blow up and pop like balloons, they'll start laying explosive eggs. And I think at level 3, those eggs will deal even more damage. I could be wrong. That guy just walk off the edge and just perish? Oh, no, there he is. I guess that guy is a bit of a mountain climber. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with it, really. Okay. On to the next objective. Hopefully things will go a bit more smoothly and the next commando won't annihilate me immediately. Again, I wish I could fire the Quacko Ray while I'm jumping around like a freaking rabbit. I also wish this thing had a little more range, but unfortunately, with it being at its base form, it can't really do a whole lot in terms of damage.
I took on an army of ghost pirate robots with nothing but a quack array and a half-charged crotchetizer. Is that why some of the older guys call you cabin boy, sir? And all units maintain radio silence.
That sounds like something that would happen with Captain Quark.
Keep talking, J31. We'll see how you like scrub duty for the next 6 weeks.
That was fun. That was so much fun. Okay. Go quack, my dude. Quack, quack. I'm on the attack. I'm kind of surprised I didn't go for another swim. One very nice thing about this mission is that it is really open-ended and you can approach in any way you see fit. If you feel safer driving around in the vehicle and start blasting enemies from afar, you could do that, and it does provide some protection. Just keep in mind though that once the vehicle is gone, then I'm pretty sure it does not respawn. And again, I could be wrong, and it does respawn back at the starting point of the mission. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, well then it doesn't. I'm not your mother. I don't know much of anything when it comes to the utilization of vehicles on this mission. Well, either way. Okay, enemy commando down. On to the next. Again, I wish this thing had some range. But unfortunately, it just doesn't. So we're just going to have to work with what we have. Nice miss. Can we miss any more? Thank you! God damn! That was annoying as crap. Also, I'm pretty sure if you approach an enemy from behind and start firing before you're within range, then it does make some noise and they will turn around and retaliate. Because it acts like you're firing any other weapon. Okay, flux rifle? Sure, why not?
Mission accomplished. All Rangers regroup and get ready to take back the valley.
Nice! So yeah, your mission objective is to take out all the commandos. Once they're all taken out, it's mission accomplished. A good day's work. Now then, time to move on to part 4 and reclaim the valley.
Sarge, we need to activate those turrets to create a defensive perimeter around the valley.
Sounds good, but it also sounds easier said than done. Sure, you could just wing it, YOLO, and go as fast as you can straight through the bolt cranks. But keep in mind, though, that these bolt cranks are surrounded by enemy forces and missile launchers on the hills above. So, if you really want to do this efficiently, sad to say, you're kind of screwed in that regard. You're going to have to wait until, you're going to have to clear everyone out first. Unless you like living dangerously, in which case...
Press square to attach the...
I know, shut up. I know I have to push square to attach my wrench to the frickin' bolt crank. I know how to play the game.
You know, in case the Noids try anything sneaky, you can handle the rest yourself.
Okay, fair enough. That is actually a pretty effective strategy. You never know. Maybe they would launch a sneak attack out of frickin' nowhere. Just saying. Also, you don't have to kill every single enemy during the mission. You don't have to commit mass genocide if you don't want to. You can just bolted to your to the nearest bolt crank and then continue that way, if you so desire. Wow, nice double kill. Didn't expect that, but hey, it worked out. There we go. Another quack quack on the attack. And speaking of quack on the attack, they sure do love taking out nearby explosive boxes. Anywho, in terms of difficulty on these little missions here, it's really not that hard, unless you're trying to go Quacko Ray only or something. Trying to level that weapon up from level 1 to level 4 or 5 or whatever. Whatever you're going for. Either way, this mission really isn't too bad, if you know what you're doing. However, if you are trying to work on leveling up weapons, trying to catch them up to your current arsenal...
How's it going, Sarge? You don't need any help, do you? Oh, sorry. Breaking up. I'll call back later.
Oh, jeer. Why say jeer like jeering? No idea. But, yeah, what's kind of funny is that, remember that one little gag that Ratchet pulled with the director of Hollow Star Studio? Well, looks like the shoe's on the other foot in this situation. Now, Quacko Ray level 3. Ow. Can you please stop? I mean, I know you're a defense turret and you're trying to blast me from, God knows where, but still. Okay, next. Goodbye. I was like, why are you trying to blast an enemy that's on the bridge despite not being on the bridge? It just doesn't make sense to me. Well, whatever. No biggie. Okay, this is hilarious. The Galactic Rangers have this last one secured already. In fact, I think this is the one you're supposed to turn at the start.
Perimeter secured! Another victory for the Rangers! Hey, maybe you should try pulling your own weight next time, Sarge.
What do you think I've been doing? Huh? Jeez. Pain. Alright, on to the end game.
We got the Nords on the run! If somebody could push through those tunnels, we could launch a direct assault on the enemy base.
And let me guess, that somebody is me. Fair enough. These guys are pretty damn dangerous, so... Fire, please! God, how hard is it to fire a goddamn sniper rifle? Little range, please. That's something I would like right about now. Here we go. Sit the hell down. Goodbye.
Take cover! The Nords are coming over the bridge!
Alright. Now, this shouldn't be too hard to take out. I say as I'm gonna probably get blasted. Never mind. There is one other thing worth mentioning when it comes to the Quacko Ray, and that is there are some enemies of which this thing cannot transform into a duck, such as those turret balls on that enemy base there. You have to take them out with other pieces of weaponry, so keep that in mind.
Inform command that outpost X
Hell yeah!
secured.
A warp pad, huh?